Hi everyone, I'm Beth Ann Langrel, the CEO of For All Seasons and a master's level trainer for the ACEs program in the state of Maryland.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Lee. I'm the Chief Clinical Officer here at For All Seasons and a trauma certified therapist.
We're so glad to be with you today to talk about ACEs, our adverse childhood experiences. It's something that Lisa and I have worked with for many, many years, and something that our community has begun to really understand differently in the last couple of years. ACEs stands for Adverse Childhood Experiences. And so the premise of ACEs is really based in looking at people that, not what's wrong with you, but what has happened to you. And really understanding that when something impacts a child early in life, such as trauma, divorce, living with a parent who has a substance abuse disorder, we know that later in life, if this is not addressed and really talked about in a way that's supportive and addressing the trauma, that it will have the potential to impact our children later in life in terms of their health and their mental well-being.
What are ACEs? ACEs are defined as adverse childhood experiences and are potentially traumatic events that occur in childhood prior to the age of 18. For example, experiencing violence, abuse, or neglect, witnessing violence in the home or community, having a family member attempt or die by suicide. Also included in ACEs are aspects of the child's environment that can undermine their sense of safety, stability, and bonding, such as growing up in a household with substance misuse, mental health disorders, instability due to parental separation, or household members being in jail or in prison. ACEs are linked to chronic health problems, mental illness, and substance misuse in adulthood. ACEs can also negatively impact education and job opportunities. Creating and sustaining safe, stable, and nurturing relationships and environments for all children and families can prevent ACEs and help all children reach their full potential.
I get the privilege of working with a lot of families, children, adults, their caretakers, and the way that it shows up sometimes in my office is with maybe children having some behavioral problems and parents feeling a little bit stuck about what should I do or how do I help my kids manage these behaviors. And as a clinician, one of the things that I'm always looking at is what's happened in this family's life, not just the child's life, but in this family's life to impact some of these behaviors. Because for me, I'm often wondering, what's the purpose of this behavior or what's the meaning behind the behavior?
And we know so often that when we see a child's behavior, and especially we know for caretakers such as all of you that are with us today, we know that there's usually something more going on than what we see. You know, if for a caretaker is having a difficult time at the grocery store, if a child is overreacting or underreacting, we usually know that there's something more if we can take that step back and think, I wonder what's happened to this child or what's happening for this family right now, to be able to really dig a little bit deeper and take a larger look at what's happening within that family system.
Sometimes it's really challenging, I know that I find, stepping back and being able to kind of view my child's behavior as, okay, what's the message that they're trying to send to me right now because of my own stress level. And so that's one of the things that I always try to keep in mind as I'm working with families is how do we manage or how do we work with the whole system to be able to help them to be able to help children.
Absolutely, and we know so often that when we are watching ACEs unfold in front of us, whether it be in a clinical session, whether it be in an interaction in the community, we know that it's really hard sometimes for caregivers to have the permission to be able to say, I need a break, or this is really overwhelming for me, or I'm just not doing okay. And I think part of what our work with the ACEs program has done across the state of Maryland and what we specifically work on at our agency and especially in our schools is giving people the permission to not get it right all the time and be able to take that step back and say, I need somebody else to step in. And sometimes it's really just that acknowledgement that this is a real thing, and that your child is not crazy, or you as a parent are not crazy. This is a real issue that has long-term effects, and the sooner that we can begin to have the conversations where we give folks the permission to acknowledge what's happening and work with the littles to talk about strategies and tools. And I always find as a parent that I am in such a better place when I'm working through something with my own child if someone gives me the benefit of the doubt to be able to say, I'm sure you're doing the best you can. Let's talk about how you can show up as your best self.
ACEs doesn't have to determine where your destiny is in what happens in your life or your children's life. What it does is it gives you an idea that, hey, there's something that's happened and we need to maybe be aware of that and recognize how those things influenced us, but it doesn't have to determine what my future is or what I'm going to be doing in my future.
Yeah, I love that whole lens of looking at our future and who we are and how we get to show up. That, no different than ACEs don't determine your path. Mental illness doesn't determine your path. It's a piece of who you are. And,
Right.
Part of what we always say about our agency and the work that we do, and obviously the work that all of the agencies who are working with you and the people that you support and support you, is that our job is to help you find your best self.
Raising awareness of ACEs can help change how people think about the causes of ACEs and who could help prevent them. They help shift the focus from individual responsibility to community solutions. Reducing stigma around ACEs means seeking help with parenting challenges or for substance misuse, depression, or suicidal thoughts. Raising awareness of ACEs can also promote a stable, safe, and nurturing relationship and environment where children live, learn, and play.